The pie. The unsung and underrated champion of the British cuisine. First invented in ancient Egypt, today's variant with a fully enclosed filling originated in ancient Rome. There it was often filled with goat cheese and honey. From the Mediterranean it made its way to northern Europe, where the different climate and resources led to changes in both filling and the fats used for the dough. Lard was used instead of olive oil and meat replaced the cheese. Pies have been documented there since the 12th century. It became particularly popular among seafaring folks because the crust served as a practical and edible tool to preserve cooked meats for longer time. On ship, the pie also found its way to the British Isles, establishing itself as a staple over time. It was also Britain where the fruit pie came to be, purportedly in the 16th century when Queen Elizabeth I was served a cherry pie. The rest, as we know, is history. While pies were experimented upon over the centuries, the meat pie is still dominant among the lunchtime variants. Vegetable options do exist, of course, but don't deliver the meaty taste many pie eaters crave. But that is about to change. It's time for another experiment. I present to you the no-pork tofu pie. This recipe will yield 4 medium-sized pies. For the pastry you will need 160 grams of flour, 75 grams of plant-based butter, 100 milliliters of water and half a teaspoon of salt. For the filling, prepare 150 grams of firm smoked tofu, 1 medium-sized shallot or half of a white onion, as well as 3 tablespoons of neutral oil. We need that much oil to compensate for the lack of fat. Ground pork meat usually has a 15% fat content, while tofu comes in at roughly 4 to 5%. For the spice preparation, I chose 1 tablespoon of paprika powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cilantro seeds, a pinch of salt, and a pinch of ground mixed pepper. Firstly, mix the flour and the salt. Then pour the water into a small pot and bring it to a slight boil. Add in the plant-based butter and stir until it is fully melted. Then slowly pour the hot mixture into the flour and incorporate it by mixing with a spoon. Once you have put in all the water and melted plant butter, start kneading the dough until you can form a ball with a smooth outside texture. Cover the bowl or put the dough into plastic wrap and transfer it into your fridge, where it will rest for around 2 hours. That gives us more than enough time to prepare the filling. First we want to crumble the tofu, which I like doing by hand to get a less uniform result. You may as well use a grater or maybe even a potato ricer. If you want, you can also just cut the tofu into little cubes. Next, finely chop up the shallot, throw it into the bowl and follow up with the oil and the spice mixture. Go in with your hands and mix everything together. Then cover it and let it rest. When the 2 hours have passed, preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius. Prepare a floured surface, your muffin tray and a rolling pin. Take the dough out of the fridge. Since it will be pretty stiff, knead it a bit until it becomes pliable again. Form a ball and cut it into 2 even pieces. Roll them out until they are about 1 to 2 millimeters thick. Then cut out 2 pieces for each pie. One will serve as the inlay and should have roughly double the diameter of the holes of the muffin molds. The other will be used as the top cover and should be about 2 cm larger in diameter than the muffin mold holes. You should end up with a little extra dough that you can use for corrections in the next step. Once all the inlays and tops are prepared, slightly oil your muffin tray, even if it's made of silicone. Stuff the inlays into the molds and be sure to gently press down to completely fill them out. Then pour in the filling with a spoon. We want to fill the pies up to the very brim. Now all that's left are the tops. Place them on the pies and crimp the edges tightly. Feel free to create nice patterns if you like. Finally, use a knife to cut 2 little slits into each pie, which will let steam escape and prevent them from exploding or getting soggy. If you want some additional browning on top, you can also give them a fake egg wash using oat or soy milk. And into the oven they go. Place them on the middle rack in circulation mode. If your oven doesn't have circulation mode, use top and bottom heat instead. In total, the pies will need about 45 minutes to bake. Make sure to rotate the muffin tray after 25 minutes to get a more even result. Check in at 40 minutes to see if the pies are browning up and getting crispy. If they don't, add a few more minutes. And here they are, the no pork pies. A delicious vegan lunchtime treat that can also serve as a hearty dinner. Enjoy it with the condiments of your preference. Personally, I like to eat them with a mild chili sauce. They provide a simple crunchy crust along with a flavorful and moist interior, with no meat required. I hope you enjoy them just as much as I do. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you will be informed when I upload my next experiment. Have a good one.